Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So it's that time, we've almost got it here. Pre-release for BT10 is right around the corner, and we've got a whole new lineup of decks to be looking at. Some very top-tier meta decks in the JP format, so we're curious to see which of those decks is going to transition over into our format, or if the ban list that we now experience that JP did not have at that time of BT10 release, if that's going to affect this format. And what I mean by that is something we're going to discuss. Don't forget, though, our new memory marker this month is Tokomon. So if you're a Patamon fan or just the Angel fan in general, this is a pretty solid memory marker to get your hands on. Also complements our Neromon if you picked up that as well. This is handmade out of clay by my wife, hand painted as well. Just super cute little memory marker. You can find this on our Etsy page, link in the description below. Also there you can find all of our previous memory markers that we featured on the channel, like the Neromon, as well as some of our Battle Ready Inc. merch. Okay, so what do I mean by how our format could be different? So we've got a lot of new stuff coming in, but in the JP format, they still had old Yellow Hybrid at full power, which kind of really limited a lot of the OTK decks. But since our Yellow Hybrid deck is so neutered, OTK decks have really thrived in this format. And so a lot of these decks that could, in theory, counter the quote-unquote beast of the format that we're about to talk about in Crossheart. Now that Yellow Hybrid's not a thing, maybe these decks that can counter Crossheart will start to rise up and then bring Crossheart down. So we actually hopefully will hit a nice happy medium of all these decks plateauing instead of it just being Crossheart at the top. But let's go ahead and talk about Crossheart as the first deck that we want to discuss. If you're not familiar, there's a new mechanic called Save. And so on deletion, Save. You may place this card under one of your Tamers as its bottom Digivolution card. Okay, and so the idea is to build up several of these. There's multiple different rookies throughout the set of multiple different colors, and they pretty much all have this Digivolve 0 cost from level 2 with Crossheart in its traits. So then you pick the baby with the Crossheart. I believe it's the Pikmon here. Yeah, and so when attacking, draw one. Pretty solid. So all of your rookies of different colors can all Digivolve on top of that yellow Pikmon. So then all these rookies start to die through multiple different means, and then they get saved under your Tamers. And so then it brings out this new mechanic here, which we will jump to Shoutmon X4 or Cross 4. Has this ability called Digicross, and this is the new mechanic for this set. Hopefully the last new mechanic for a while. I haven't seen JP implementing anything else too crazy in a while. So you get to lower the play cost of this Digimon for each one of these that you place from your hand under this. So Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Darulamon, and Starmons. So for each one of those from your hand that you place underneath, reduce the play cost by 1, or by 2, sorry, making him at max a 1 play cost in the best situation. And when you combine it with certain inheritables like Shoutmon here, it gives it Rush, and that's what makes this deck so formidable, is because you have all these 1 play cost Shoutmons, or the X4 or the X5, and they're just super cheap, and you can just play Rush. And then afterwards, if they get deleted, you can material save. So again, this has the material save, which is another save mechanic, but you use your inheritables instead of this Digimon himself, which is pretty great. And then end of attack, you may place all of this Digimon's Digivolution cards under one of your Tamers in any order to unsuspend one of your Tamers if you do delete this Digimon. So basically you attack with the Cross 4 here. If he dies, you material save 2, probably grab your Shoutmon so you keep your Rush inheritable, because that's going to be your most important one. And then you're going to go into more Shoutmons. Or if you survive the security check, that's where the power of this comes in, is you just basically delete this guy, take all of his materials, and slide them back underneath another Tamer. Now you're probably wondering, well, what's the point of putting them all underneath Tamers if you have to add them from hand underneath? Well, there is a Tamer that allows you to overwrite that. So your red Tamer here, when you play one of your Digimon with Digicross requirements, by suspending this Tamer, you can also place cards from under your Tamers into Digivolution sources by Digicross. So this Tamer lets you overwrite that, needing it to be from hand for your Shoutmons here. So now you're using all your rookies that have died throughout the game. You're now using all those that are underneath your Tamers to go into these guys. So you just, I mean, you're going to swing like a couple randos into security, get a couple early game security checks, and then you just boom, cross, like Digicross, rush, and then that's really, I mean, that is the strategy there, and it's just a big beat down after that. It takes a little bit of time to build up, but like your trash, you never really fill your trash with anything like that. Every time your opponent deletes your stuff, you know, you just get to save it all, or at least a big chunk of it gets saved, so you don't really lose any resources, and that's what makes this deck so crazy, is that you just don't lose resources. We also have the Shoutmon Cross 5 here, has security attack +1, can Digicross 2, so for each one of these, again, you -2 play cost. So we got Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Dorulamon, Starmons, and Sparrowmon on this one. So this guy actually becomes a 0 play cost. You put the Shoutmon underneath, he's got Rush, security attack +1, that's nuts. Okay, so, and then material save 3, so he is a beast of a card. 0 play cost, absolutely crazy. Now the thing about him is he can't choose to just break apart like the Shoutmon Cross 4. The Cross 4, after you attack, you break apart, and like of your own effect. If you don't die in security, you can still break apart. This guy has to material save, so he has to die to get the material save, but still extremely powerful whole mechanic there. And that's the Crossheart deck, and that's what makes it so good. It's like I said, you don't lose any resources. They get deleted and you just save. You get deleted, you save, and then you've got all these saved materials, and then you just rush. You just rush with these level 4s and level 5. And that's really it. That's the deck. It's definitely a very interesting mechanic. Curious to see how it holds up in the format. I think with Black War Greymon getting so much Tamer deletion effects himself, Megadramon and stuff like that, being able to delete these Tamers is great. That deck suffered against Yellow Hybrid, but if Yellow Hybrid's not in the mix, then maybe we'll see a whole lot more Black War Greymon in play to counter this Crossheart deck. Now, let's talk about something a little bit more fun. Kano Weissmon here for Gamamon. For all you Ghost Game fans out there, we finally have the centerpiece of the Gamamon deck. We can actually build a Gamamon themed deck and it actually be playable and fun. Super excited for this guy. So if you're not really sure what the gimmick is here, it's pretty obvious. Your turn, once per turn, when one of your Tamers, all turns, this Digimon gains all effects of the cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards with Gamamon in their name. So you get inheritables if they have inheritables. If they don't, and they just have regular effects, you get those regular effects. So the stuff out of the inheritable up here in this, you get all that stuff. So unblockable, blitz, God, I forget it all. There's so many great things, and he gets all of those effects. And the stack on this guy, like we're just used to showing the bottom rectangle here with this effect. Now we're gonna have to like keep this whole like bottom half of the card for every single one of the Gamamons underneath. You get the Gamamons as well as all the level 4s. They all have Gamamon in the name as well. Very powerful card here for the Gamamon decks. And then when your turn, once per turn, when one of your Tamers becomes suspended, which his Tamer, they all have abilities that let them suspend, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP for the turn. And then if this Digimon has 12,000 DP or more, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So in theory, you're going to use the one that gives the Memory Fixer that gives him a 2k buff, puts him at 10k, and then he himself is going to give himself a 2k buff. That puts him at the 12k threshold. So you're just going to use the Memory Fixer hero to get him to that 12k mark, which gives him that security attack +1, which is kind of what the purpose of the old tie was, to give security attack +1 and be a Memory Fixer. Now the hero can do that as well for the Gamamon deck. So very cool card. And then even his inheritable. So if you Digivolve on top of this guy with something, they also get all those effects as well. So really cool card. Really excited to see what people do with the Gamamon deck. Looks a ton of fun. Coming down here to blue, though, just a quick mention, Jellymon also has their level 5, so if you want to incorporate this into, say, an All Force deck, the Jelly Force deck, or just continue on with the Jellymon deck we've already had. I featured it on the channel. I was playing in a bunch of this format. But the real big thing here for blue is going to be the blue flare deck here. So we'll take a look at the Greymon here as the lower end. On play, reveal 4. That's going to be your searcher. You're going to add 2 cards with blue flare and their traits among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of the deck in order. If you have the Tamer that goes with these, you may return 1 Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand instead. Very interesting. And then on deletion save. So we're going to do more of the on deletion save mechanics here, but it's going to be a little bit more on the high end. So we've got level 4s here. So Mel Bergermon, we've got the Greymon. They've got the save mechanics here. Again, we're just kind of digging here, finding the pieces we need. And then Metal Greymon is one of the major points here. You got the Digicross 2, so he can lower his play cost as well, only by 4, so he becomes a 3 play cost. Still not bad though. But on play, gains rush, so we don't have the Shoutmon giving us rush this time. This time, this guy's just giving it himself for the turn. Then this is the part that makes the blue different from the red or the Shoutmon cross deck, okay? The cross heart deck. This is what makes this version different, is it's blue. So we're doing a lot of stunning. Then if you Digicross 3 of your opponent's Digimon with a number of Digivolution cards less than or equal to this Digimon's, cannot attack or block until the turn. So if you Digicrossed 2 cards, you have 2 inheritables underneath this Metal Greymon. Then all of your, or up to 3 of your opponent's Digimon that have 2 inheritables or less get stunned. So we're doing some stunning with the blue flare deck. Definitely an interesting one. We also have the Decker Greymon, which is kind of similar here. So you can Digicross 2 here with this one as well. Still a 5 play cost, which is really big, but it does have Armor Purge, which is neat, but still 5 play cost is pretty steep. You may place 1 Digimon card with blue flare and its traits from your hand or from your under your Tamer to the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Then if this Digimon has Deckergermon in its Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack. So this one isn't relying on how many sources they have. They're just, if you've got the, if you use the on play effect or the Digicross to place this, he also can Digivolve. I should mention that. You don't have to Digicross to do his effect here. You can do the when Digivolving, slide that blue flare, the Deckergermon, sorry, the Deckergermon underneath with his when Digivolving effect, and then you can still stun one of your opponent's things. That's pretty cool. And so you can actually, in theory, go multiple Decker Greymons on top of one after another, just for that 2 Evo cost, which is really exciting because he's got Armor Purge. So you just Armor Purge down into another Decker Greymon and just keep going. It's pretty neat. I do like that mechanic a lot. That's pretty clever for sure. But that's blue flare. So we're similar to the Shoutmon stuff, but we're doing more stuns involved, which is pretty neat, I would say. Going down here into yellow, though, for the most part, we just have the one thing. Now, we do have the Venusmon line here, but I wouldn't say Venusmon, like, by itself is a deck. Venusmon herself is a fantastic mega. You can just toss her into numerous yellow decks, and she will do phenomenal for you. She is like a fantastic, powerful card, but I don't really see running her whole Evo chain and making it into a whole deck. I don't think that's really necessary. Now, what we do have to really complement a deck we've already had, but just takes it to a whole nother level, is Sukuyamon. So we have Sukuyamon from EX2, which was a ton of fun, but could be kind of bricky at times. If you don't see your Tamer, you know, the deck really suffers, and it's really difficult to do a lot of things. You missed out on some of, like, if you incorporated the old Sukuyamon line from like way back in the day, like those didn't really fit into the strategy all that well, but these do. So we have a whole new Evo chain to complement our EX2 counterparts, ending with Maid Mode here, which is probably the most gorgeous card I've ever seen in this game. If you've seen like real life copies of this, as well as the alt art, oh my god, they're fantastically made cards. They look so good. The art is absolutely incredible. But when digivolving, you may use an option card with plug-in in its name or a yellow option with a memory cost of 5 or less from your hand, ignoring its color restrictions. So as long as it's like half yellow at minimum, you can use it. That's what it means by it's like it's got to be yellow, but you ignore color restrictions. It's for cards like Sunrise Buster, which is a big one that was used in the JP format, which is yellow-red. It's 5 play cost. You can use it with her effect here. For free. So when digivolving 3 Evo, play a 5 play cost option for free. Then after using the option card, instead of trashing it, place it on top of your security stack face down. So it's almost like, hey, play Evo for 3, play a 5 cost option, recover 1 that option. Like, dang, that is a powerful effect. Extremely, extremely, extremely powerful, which is why Yellow Hybrid was so formidable in the JP format, was with this on top of your Jet Sylphies, because if you had a memory fixer, you could go all the way up into a Maid Mode, which you would get your recovery off of your Jet Sylphie, your 0 memory Evo into a Maid Mode to pass turn. You use Sunrise Buster to kill something, play out a Tamer for free, and put that in security. So essentially you recover 2 in the same turn that you delete an opponent's Digimon and get a Tamer on field. Very, very strong. Okay? Super, super good. But aside from that, what makes it so Sukuyamon focused is when attacking, this Digimon can digivolve into a Sukuyamon in your hand for a memory cost of 1, ignoring its digivolution requirements. So you're mode shifting here. So if you notice, you can digivolve for 2 on top of a level 6. So you go into your Sukuyamon, and then you go into your Maid Mode on top of your Sukuyamon for 2, and then Maid Mode goes back into another Sukuyamon. So it's just like leapfrogging over each other here with new copies of them. So pretty cool. I do really like that. It's very, very neat of a gimmick there. And they've got another Talmon here, which you may use one option will plug in its name from your hand, ignoring its color requirements without paying its cost. So you don't need a Tamer in play to use your plugins with this Talmon. We've got a Cubimon here, which activate one of the effects below when digivolving. Return 1 option card to plug in its name from your trash to your hand, or by trashing 1 option card to plug in its name, you can draw 2. I love this. So if I just need a plug-in and I've already got it in my trash, I can just grab that back out. But say I've got plugins, say I'm missing like my Talmons, or I'm missing my Tamer, right? Let me just discard one of these extra plugins and draw 2. Let me try to hit that Tamer off the Cubimon. I love the versatility of that. That is such a cool effect. And then of course we got a new Renamon here as well, which is another one of our searchers here. You can reveal 4, add a plugin, and a yellow Tamer. Oh my god, that's such a good searcher. 4 and add 2 cards. Super, super good. Really, really looking forward to playing some Sukuyamon pure, as well as maybe do some Maid Mode shenanigans in some sort of hybrid deck as well. But it looks like a ton of fun. Absolutely. Now, getting into green, I did miss this. Some people pointed out in our cards to get before, but honestly, this is pretty self-encompassing. We have the new Bloom Lord. If you've seen this deck in like games with it, oh my goodness, this thing is absolutely bananas. So when digivolving, you may suspend one of your Digimon. Then for each of your suspended Digimon that contains plant, vegetation, or fairy in its traits, gain 1 memory. Okay, so instantly you can make this guy a 3 Evo cost if you suspend himself. Which, okay, no, I mean, that's nothing new there, but if you go really crazy with the, like, Digisorption effects, where you just keep all your stuff suspended, you have this big field of suspended stuff, and you go into this guy, he's basically a free Evo. And then, when you gain 2 or more memory with this effect, unsuspend this Digimon, and this Digimon gains piercing for the turn. So evo into this guy for free, he unsuspends himself, he gets piercing, and then your turn, for every 2 of your suspended Digimon, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP and gains security attack plus 1. For every 2. So, 14, security attack plus 1. 16, security attack plus 2. 18, security attack plus 3. You see how crazy that is? With Digisorption in this type of stuff, super, super crazy. But he also has just fantastic stuff that really, really complements this whole playstyle. So Palmon here on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 plant, vegetation in its traits, and 1 card with fairy in its traits among them to your hand. So we got a searcher for all of our stuff that we need. We got the Sunflowermon here. When Digivolving by suspending one of your green Digimon, it's not Digisorption, so you can choose to do this. Like, it's really, really weird how it's worded. You may play 1 Digimon card that contains plant, vegetation, or fairy in its traits and 3000 DP or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. So then that gives you a free rookie on play there. If you use your Palmon, you can get your searches off of that. Then gets an inheritable of draw 1 when it gets suspended. And it just keeps going from there. We got a Cherrymon here. So there's the Digisorption. Opponent's turn. When your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may switch the target of the attack to this to one of your suspended Digimon. So this is similar to Magnamon X that Armor Rush has. And it's like a super blocker. You can just choose which things you want to direct whenever you want. You don't have to like actually deliberately block it. Pretty amazing stuff here. And it just kind of snowballs from here. Bloomlord is pretty amazing, and it just does tons of this, like, play this for free, play this for free, Digivolve for free, play this for free, Digivolve for free. And it's just your whole field, just like literally like a forest, just grows rapidly like a jungle and just gets in one turn out of absolute control. Watch some games with Bloomlord if you haven't seen it. There's some great like older games from like a few months ago when JP got this out there from some other great YouTube channels. Bloomlord, look it up. It's pretty scary. Jumping here into black now, I'm a little less excited about this, I'll be perfectly honest, but we do have Dark Knightmon support, which is it's pretty interesting. It just kind of continues off to what we've already been doing with Dark Knightmon in the past, where you get to, when you get deleted, you get to split back into more Dark Knightmon, or get to split back into the level 4s that make up a Dark Knightmon, but now we have a Digicross version of Dark Knightmon as well, so we can Digicross 2 here, making him a 4 play cost, and then Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if you Digicrossed with 2 materials, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. That's pretty great. So you can Digivolve, and then if it's 5 or less, you could delete it, or delete something else. Nice and versatile. I like that it doesn't have to delete that exact thing that you Digivolved. You can like Digivolve a level 7 into a 6, and then come over here and delete this level 4 somewhere else. I like the versatility there. And then when this Digimon would be deleted, by returning 1 level 4 or lower black Digimon card from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to your hand, you may play 1 Skull Knightmon or Deadly Axeman from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without playing its memory cost. So basically, again, just like the other Dark Knightmon, when he gets deleted, you get it split apart again. Now 1 goes to hand and 1 goes to field, so it's a little bit different. This is nice though, because they don't have to go onto the field suspended just to get deleted and run over anyways. Getting to play it out unsuspended is pretty nice there. So really, really neat stuff, as well as they do have the X antibody to go with it. So Evo for 4 on top of your Dark Knightmons. When Digivolving, return 1 black or purple Digimon card from card other than Dark Knightmon X antibody from your trash to your hand. Then when this Digimon has Dark Knightmon or X antibody, the option card in its Digivolution cards, delete 1 Tamer and unsuspend this Digimon. So it's pretty cool. Get a little bit of hate on the Digicross Shoutmon decks out there, and then on deletion you may play 1 Dark Knightmon from your trash without paying its memory cost. So again, just all about like recycling and spitting out and splitting apart and just making itself for free, and like a whole bunch of support for it. So it goes a long way of all the stuff we can do with the Dark Knightmon. I think there's going to be some really interesting decks that are come of it. There for a minute it popped off in JP format, just like it was like lightning. It struck and then it was gone again. So we'll see. Just think back to the old black metal Garurumon deck that just like absolutely blew everyone away, topped like 2 events in like 2 weeks, and then it just disappeared. I think we might see that happen with Dark Knightmon as well in this format. Justymon also got a little bit of support here in a secondary mega, which it desperately needed. Jumping down in here to looking at purple here, we do have a new deck in the form of the Bagra Army focused deck. This is the beginnings of Bagra Army, and coming with later sets, it gets more support, and it's going to get really crazy later on. But this is just kind of the beginnings here. Tactimon here as the boss monster. On play, you may play up to 2 level 4 or lower Digimon card with Bagra Army in their traits from your trash without paying their memory cost. Those Digimon gain blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Like, that's 13 memory to gain 2 blockers. It's got to specifically be Bagra Army. That doesn't sound too great there. However, opponent's turn, when your Digimon's Digivolution cards would be trashed by effects, you may trash this Digimon's Digivolution cards instead. Or sorry, when your other Digimon's Digivolution cards would be trashed. So that's kind of interesting, but it's like, why is he just not going to have any? You're on play. Why would he have, sources there? That's just kind of the theme of this this whole crazy shenanigans that it's got going on. So Mad Leomon is the level 4 for the Bagra Army here, Digicross 2. Any one of your Digimon with Bagra Army in its traits, and so you can make him a 3 play cost with anything with Bagra Army. I like that's really nice versatility. On deletion saves, you can save him, which is going to be really important later. So a lot of your stuff here is going to have save. You have the Troopmon with save, the Daemon here with save, and so where does all this kind of come into effect here? So the purple Tamer all turns once per turn. When a purple card is placed under this Tamer, draw 1 and gain 1 memory. That's pretty neat. You return once per turn when you would play a level 4 or higher Digimon with Bagra Army in its traits by placing up to 3 purple Digimon from under your Tamers in that Digimon's Digivolution cards. Reduce the play cost of that Digimon by 2 for each card placed. So that's how we're going to be able to reduce down. So it doesn't have like Digicross built in as an effect. You have to use the Tamer to put it in there. So you can reduce the play cost of this by 6, making it a 7 play cost, which is a lot more manageable. 7 play cost to get 2 level 4s and make them blockers is pretty neat there. And so you've got plenty of stuff to kind of work it in. It's definitely an interesting one. I don't know if it's going to pop off or not. We'll just have to wait and see. Beelzemon got a new version of him, which is kind of neat. But Belmon here is really nice for the Beelzemon deck, which is a level 5. It had Skull Satamon, which is pretty solid, but now it also has Belmon to pick from as well. So definitely a big fan of the support there. Now the one I'm actually excited for is Minervamon. So this one is an interesting one that might not be as obvious. If you've seen the Minerva loops, you already kind of know what's going on here. Retaliation on a Mega is always kind of awkward. It basically makes your opponent not want to swing over them. But opponent's turn, when your opponent plays a Digimon, you may play 1 purple level 4 opponent's turn. When your opponent plays a Digimon, you may play 1 purple level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. So like you get blockers or things like that, which is pretty neat. So every time you're, and this isn't once per turn. So every time your opponent like plays out a Shoutmon, cross 4 and rushes, you're going to play out that blocker. Block with a blocker. Blocker dies. They're going to play out another one. Okay, I'm going to bring back my blocker. Blocker dies. Okay, they're going to bring out another one. It's like a never-ending loop, you see? So that's really nice. You have this like infinite wall that you can put up against like those rush-style decks. That's really neat in itself. But the loop part comes from this. On deletion, if your opponent has 2 or less Digimon in play, you may play 1 purple level 5 or lower purple Digimon or 1 Mervamon from your trash without paying its memory cost. one purple level 5 or lower. So basically, you're going to play. Let me go ahead and pull it up for you, so we have it. Okay, so I got it here. So, Revive from Darkness. 4 play costs, delete one of your purple Digimon. Then you may play 1 level 5 or lower purple Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. On-play effects of that Digimon don't activate. So, what you do is, it's a Cerberusmon loop kind of shenanigans. So, you use this to play out regular Cerberusmon, and then the deletion, since you deleted Minervamon with this card, Minervamon's on deletion effect will allow you to play out a level 5 from trash, allowing you to play out the Cerberusmon werewolf mode to pop that Cerberusmon you just played off of the option card, which will then gain you 9 memory. So that card was 5 play cost, but you end up gaining 4 because of it, because of this loop. And you can just repeatedly do this. You can Evo, again, Minervamons and things like that. And as long as you've got the card, the deletion card, you can keep, recycling this as well as the Minervamons. And you can actually plus on memory. You actually gain more memory. You go through a lot of resources, but you gain a ton of memory. It's a super exciting deck. It's just like Lilith Loop, but you replace Lilith with Minervamon, and you replace your Jack Raids with that deletion card, and that's it. I mean, it's an easy swap. If you already have a Lilith Loop deck, you just swap out your Liliths for Minervas, and you swap out your Jack Raids for the Revive from Darkness option card, and boom, you've got Minerva Loop, and that's gonna be the last new deck that we've got. Oh, I did miss Jesmon. Jesmon also has the starter deck coming out, as well as the secret rare Jesmon GX, which is basically just a complete and total replacement for Blitz Omnimon. So when Digivolving, you may place 1 Digimon card with Royal Knights in its Digivolution cards, and a play cost of 13 or less from your hand or trash under this Digimon's as its bottom Digivolution card. Activate one of the placed Digimon's when Digivolving effects. So anything that's got a when Digivolving effect out there that you can use that is a Royal Knight, you just slide it under there, get its when Digivolving effect immediately, and then Blitz afterwards. And then all turns, while this Digimon has a Royal Knight and its traits in its Digivolution cards, which whatever level 6 that you have should be a level, or should be a Royal Knight in this, I would think. Like, you could run this in any red deck ever, but you really should run it in a Royal Knights, like a Jesmon or even a Gallantmon themed deck. And it gains piercing, blocker, and security attack +1 for each card. So if you've got, while this Digimon has Royal Knight in its trait, so if you've got whatever you put underneath it, as well as the level 6, that's going to be 2 Royal Knights. You could have security attack +2 underneath this Jesmon GX. Very, very powerful card. We didn't really see it pop off too much in the JP format, but again, I think there's definitely room to grow, as well as we have the Jesmon X antibody to go with your the new Jesmon out of the new starter deck, as well as you want to run an old Jesmon, you can do that as well. So lots to choose from in the new Jesmon deck. Very excited for it. If you've seen the price increases of alt arts, I talked about it earlier this week, cards to get before next format. We talked about the the sister mons. Those alt arts doubled in price. Yeah, so I hope that wasn't because of me in the video I put out, but definitely, like, people are excited for Jesmon again. Like, it's definitely been long enough that people don't hate it anymore, so we can play it again and it still be fun, and it's got tons of new tools and multiple ratios of how you want to play it. Very excited for sure.